Welcome to the Australian Business Executive Podcast, where we speak with Australia's most influential industry professionals on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all our content, including our magazines, podcasts and videos by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.
Alison Hernandez is the Managing Director APAC for talent mobility provider Randstad RiseSmart. With a growing team of more than 330 coaches, resume writers, sales and marketing professionals, practice and delivery experts reporting through to her, Alison leads with inclusion and diversity at the core of her being a gender pay equity ambassador and winner of numerous leadership awards. She co-founded a specialist consultancy, Sageco, in 2004, which was acquired by Randstad in 2017, which launched the RiseSmart business in Australia. Since then, she's developed a global network within Randstad and is well respected for her career transition expertise locally and internationally. Alison, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Great to be with you. Thank you.
So, give us a little bit more of an overview of the Randstad RiseSmart business.
Great. So Randstad's a global leader in the HR services industry, founded back in 1960 and headquartered over in the Netherlands. Randstad currently is active in over 38 markets around the world and has a top 3 position in about half of those markets, with a workforce of over 35,000 employees and with revenues of over 20 billion euros. I'm very aligned with the ambition of Randstad, which is to touch the lives of 500 million people by 2030. And last year, in a pandemic year, Randstad helped 2 million candidates find a meaningful job and supported over 230,000 customers. And where RiseSmart comes into that story, RiseSmart was founded in Silicon Valley back in 2007 and was acquired by the Randstad Innovation Fund in 2015. Since that time, RiseSmart's expanded to deliver solutions in over 90 countries globally, and we work with over 3,000 customers providing talent mobility solutions. Namely, we're engaged by organizations across the public and the private sector to support their employees and their careers as they go from beginning to new beginning. That might include career development, reskilling, redeployment, and of course, career transition and outplacement. So that's who we are and what we do.
Okay, great. Now, as we mentioned in the intro, this seems to have been spun out of a company called Sageco, which you were originally part of. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the journey and how that came to be?
Sure. So actually the seeds of Sageco were planted back in the year 2000 with the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney, where I was fortunate enough to be appointed as the Career Transition Director. So the CEO at that time, Sandy Holloway, was a visionary, and he actually launched an inaugural career transition program for the employees of the Olympic Games. With a view to wanting to engage and retain those key employees to deliver the best games ever, which we still claim, and then to support them with their life beyond Sydney 2000 and transition to new opportunities. Now, at that time, I worked within the HR and employee relations team and met Katrina Byrne, who actually is our now RiseSmart Creative Director for Asia Pacific. We began to research globally gaps in the market. And one of the areas that we became very passionate about was supporting people in late career. We knew there was a backdrop of an aging workforce, a significant unprecedented demographic change sweeping the globe. And yet organizations were really not focusing on or investing in their older workers. So the niche play that we landed on was to launch Sageco in 2004 and fill this gap and bring to the market solutions around an aging workforce and supporting people in late career and with their transition to retirement plans. And that is still a core component of our business today.
So why is talent mobility important for an organization's sustainability and, the future of work?
Well, I guess, to answer the question about talent mobility, we should ask, what problem are we actually trying to solve? And in talking to hundreds and working with thousands of customers in the region and around the world, what we find is this. Firstly, there is invisible talent in organizations. And organizations really don't know what skill and knowledge and experience they have in the house. And if that talent is not seen clearly by you, they may be seen by others. And they will opt to create their new beginning with another organization rather than embracing opportunities within your organization. Secondly, when we look at skill profiling, we really only know about the tip of the iceberg, the skills and experience that we put into play every day in the workplace and what we see and what is visible in our employees. What we don't often understand or see are the hidden skills, experiences, passions, and natural talents that sit below the surface. So what happens is organizations continually search externally for talent when the person with the will and the skill to do the job could be sitting right under our nose. So where RiseSmart comes in to support organizations is with that mobility of the talent that you already have and really embracing the opportunity to make that invisible talent visible by skill profiling, by having, online access and algorithms that can basically match people to opportunities and opportunities to people. And then furthermore, supporting the employees to plan for their future from a career perspective, but also a more holistic life perspective. So when we look at the future of work, it's about bringing your whole self to work, and it's about organizations being able to support people inside and outside of the workplace.
And so, what are the current issues that are facing the employment and training sector?
Well, I guess, one good source of data that I often reference is the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. And last year, their research showed that 43% of organizations are still intending to reduce their workforce, which, could impact 85 million jobs around the world. However, 41% of employers intend to counter this by stating that they have an intention to increase the use of contractors and gig workers, a more flexible and potentially borderless workforce, coupled with the fact that the robot revolution is predicted to create 97 million new jobs, largely in environmental, in the green economy, content creation, cloud computing, product development, and other tech roles. However, there's still a very strong focus on human interaction and the soft skills or the self-management skills that we read about so often. And it's about using technology to make that invisible talent visible, as I mentioned before. What we're seeing now is, as we go into 2021, the pendulum is swinging from a place of uncertainty and radical cost-cutting measures, which have ranged from, standing down employees to making people redundant. However, what we're starting to see those seeds of growth, and organizations are now focusing on rebuilding, on talent acquisition, and on setting the organization up for growth in the future. So, we're calling it that the war for talent is coming back, and organizations are going to need to be a lot more creative around how they engage, upskill, reskill, and internally deploy the talent that they've got. Because simply put, there may not be a steady flow of available talent out in the market to fill the jobs as organizations, resume their growth plan.
I think it's a fear for a lot of people. And you've mentioned the uncertainty of employment in modern times. Do you have any tips for executives on successfully navigating the future of work?
Oh, look, I guess my first piece of advice would always be to fit your own oxygen mask first before trying to help others. And as an executive, we should be leading the reskilling revolution, investing in ourselves, being able to consciously and intentionally take a step back away from the day-to-day working in the business to really focus on working on the business. But we need to become more informed on a wider range of topics, whether this is, digitization of technology, whether it is diversity and inclusion, or whether it is around leadership skills. And so I think, for executives to take their own advice and actually to invest in their own reskilling and continuous learning is really important. And, I can step up there and say that in recent years, I've had the great pleasure of being nominated to attend the Randstad Global Senior Executive Program, where they have partnered for many years with INSEAD, in France and TS University in the Netherlands. And I took part in a one-year senior executive program, which culminated in, if you like, a Shark Tank type pitch to the executive board of Randstad for a solution. And we were very fortunate that our project in 2019 got the seal of approval, and we have advanced to bringing a new reskilling solution to market, which is being launched this year. And further to that, this year, I'm also attending a Randstad London Business School transformational leadership course. So, it's hard to find the time to invest in these things. The urgent always takes over from the important, but the reskilling and the learning and is a continuous journey, and it is very important. Secondly, I think be prepared to challenge your own thinking and invite others to challenge you. What worked for us yesterday as executives and as leaders may not work for us tomorrow. So I guess my mantra has always been surround myself with the very brightest and most capable and passionate people, and then give them as much freedom in the frame as possible. I like to think that I'm empowering my people to be able to innovate and create, and also take informed risks, and even, fall over and fail, because that's where the richest learnings are. But I would love, as a passionate sort of inclusion activist, I guess, I would love to see more executives really investing in inclusive leadership behaviours and role modelling this from the very top. I think that's a very important skill and a very important knowledge area to acquire going forward, so that we truly can, as leaders, lead from the front.
Alison, we're getting towards the end of our chat today. Before we finish, is there anything else that you might not have had a chance to address or discuss?
Oh, look, no, not really. It's been a great opportunity to reflect, I think, and to share some ideas and some insights. But, I think really we're going to see a significant increase on the focus on talent mobility solutions going forward. We are seeing a huge surge in appetite across the public and the private sector to help them find creative and innovative and scalable and consistent and cost-effective solutions to how we support employees through their career life course, from the very beginning as they enter the workforce to the next new beginning, which most employers will hope will be within the organisation. And then inevitably, if change strikes, it may be a new beginning outside of the organisation. So we're really feeling that a significant shift is coming, and organisations that do invest in proactive career support for employees at any age or life stage will most certainly position themselves to compete more effectively for talent in the future.
Excellent. Well, Alison, thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you, Jesse. It's been great to talk. Thank you.
This has been a production of the Australian Business Executive, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Australian Business Executive, including our magazines, podcasts and videos, by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.